Alrighty, so
Hi. How's it going?
So wait, they can hear us right now?
and now they can hear me too. So
God damn it.
Alright.
Oh god, I snorted.
Don't let the feds hear you say that.
Professionals.
Oh, they heard it. Yeah, professionals, guys. So, good morning. Alright, so good. My alerts are not making sound. We're good. We're chilling. We're not gonna have that thing that happened last time I hosted. We don't talk about it.
Except you just did.
Yeah, exactly. That's the last we'll hear of it. Alright. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Global Gang Podcast. I am your host today, Anthony Jamo. This is episode 6 of the podcast, and I am joined yet again by the other panelists, Alec Hunter, Trevor, and Taisha. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. Guys, I'll throw it over to Taisha first, I guess.
Hey guys, dudes! It's Taisha Daisetsu. How's it going?
Alright, and Alec,
Alec Hunter 1982, let's talk some Dokkan, guys.
and Trevor.
Hi guys, I don't really have an intro, but name's Trevor. You know.
That is his intro.
Alright, so like I said earlier, good morning everyone. For those who are just tuning into the podcast, we are literally just about to get started here. We're gonna wait a little bit before for people to start coming in. But so yeah, how are you guys doing this morning, the panelists?
Good man, good. Ready to be sad about these cooler shafts, bro.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I'm just happy that I'm done with the Extreme Z area.
I haven't done that yet.
Are you really? Jesus.
Yeah, it was not... Dude, I ended up using Majub as my lead.
Oh god.
Like, because he's a 3-key lead.
Right.
He
Alright.
lowers attack super. best super attack ever.
Alright, so I guess we might as well get started. I already had the screen up, but yeah, so our first topic that we're going to be talking about is actually Extreme Ultimate Power Cooler. So this unit just dropped literally last night, if I'm not mistaken, or the night before rather. But yeah, so Cooler is officially here, and we pretty much dissected everything about Cooler over the course of the past few broadcasts, so there isn't much to really say about him, but we're going to go ahead and recap everything again. So our boy Cooler, he is obviously Terrifying Conquerors, not a fan of the name, and transformation boost, key plus 3 HP attack, or HP by 130%, and attack and defense plus 170. Obviously, his super attack causes immense damage to enemy and lowers attack and defense. That is a 20% for 3 turns. And like we said, this unit is one of the most top tier units in the game that we have right now. He's an amazing unit all through and through, has some of the best skills like this passive right here. His attack and defense plus 100% and transformation boost category allies get a key plus 2 and attack and defense plus 30% when facing one enemy. Terrifying Conquers category allies key plus 2 and attack and defense plus 50% when facing 2 or more enemies. Just overall an amazing unit. I don't think he really needs any introduction at this point, but yeah, what do you guys think about Cooler finally being out in the game? How's that
Outside of the 3 weeks of introduction we've already given this unit?
yeah, so what are your guys, like, I don't know who owns them out of the panelists. I don't personally, so I can't really say much. I don't know, I'm pretty sure Taisha does have Cooler, I'm not too sure, but
Yeah, Ty's the only one.
Yeah, Ty's the only one. I did my ticket summons, but didn't pull Cooler. I will do summons on stream tomorrow.
got you.
He's just so good. I'm so happy
But yeah, so an extraordinary
Yeah.
unit. There really isn't much to say about him other than the fact that yes, he is now officially farmable. He was farmable before this tech cooler release, so if you guys can see it right down here as part of the details, he does have 2 coolers that you can use to raise his SA. This SR cooler is actually a summonable unit too, but he's pretty droppable when you do any type of summon on Dokkan banners. But now we have this free to play. I think
Back
he
with
was
the
a free to play
cooler
at one.
thing?
Yeah, he definitely was,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that just got removed. because of this
Yeah.
event, but-
But yeah, so with his removal, we do now have the tech cooler right here that you can raise his SA with. He features in the new event. We will talk about that a little bit here in a second. But yeah, so like we said, for the 3 weeks that we've covered cooler, there really just isn't much to say about this unit overall.
He slaps, man.
He's literally just a unit that slaps.
Yeah,
But-
I don't have him, but I've been using him as a friend on my I don't know, makeshift
Yeah,
Thirst for Conquest team.
I haven't really tested
he's
him,
good.
so
I will just keep in mind that his passive on most events is not going to
yeah.
for the support because it's a 2 or more enemies, so that's kind of sad.
Mhm.
But if you can throw on transformation boost units, which there's quite a bit in the category, so you could run that still. So he's still a decent support. But yeah, when he transforms, he gets fucking ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, he is
Stupid.
OP.
It's pretty good.
And then as you guys can see here, with his transformation, he raises attack by 30% for infinite. Infinite stacking, he causes immense damage to enemy and greatly lowers defense. That is 50% for 3 turns. And overall, again, this unit is just absolutely busted. But yeah, like I said, we already dove over cooler time and time again, so I feel like we can just move on from this. It was kind of a quick segment that we wanted to just throw together, and I felt like just going a little bit into more detail about him for those who may not really know everything about the unit yet. So yeah, overall, a great unit. Probably one of the most top tier units we have in Dokkan, especially for global at the current moment in time.
Easy.
So
Best, one of the top 5 best units in the game, and one of the best TURs just in general.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
So
will say his defense isn't fucking that much.
Whoa.
He's not going to be tanking hits, but he does lower attack before he transforms, so
yeah.
that'll help in most events. But there are a lot that don't. You can't lower defense in the later stages. But hopefully by then you've already transformed,
Yeah.
so that's okay. But I have to keep stressing, he cannot tank. Okay. Yeah. Don't be like, oh, Cooler's best unit ever, put first 17 times. He will not live through that. I've tested this. He can't. He's pretty good, but he will not tank for you.
Yeah. Alec, any last things before we move on?
I like units that have free super attacks.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it sounds like I'm being really dismissive of the particular section, but we literally have talked about this unit for the last 3 weeks because we thought he was coming a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we did an introduction to him, and then he didn't come. Then we found out then he was coming, so we talked about him last week. Now we're talking about him again. I mean, we really can't say anything that we haven't already said about this unit.
Yeah.
I mean, other than I mean, I don't think we've really talked about his art, which is absolutely solid.
I agree.
Yeah.
It definitely is one of the most amazing, cooler arts in the entire game, if not the best one, in my opinion.
So
Golden Cooler. Okay.
I'm more excited to talk about the next unit personally.
I am a little bit as well. So our next unit moving on is actually the Thouser unit, or Salza, if people would prefer to call him that. This is actually one of the units I did pull. So for me, I did 150 stones on the cooler banner. I literally was not expecting featured units. My first animation, I literally got, I think, Chaozu and Kid Trunks, and I ended up getting Planet Namek Saga Goku and Tech Godku. So that was an interesting summon. And then my second multi, I got just Krillin animation, and I ended up pulling Angel Golden Frieza, Physical Cooler, and Thouser in one multi. So I haven't really tested Thouser out just yet. He is SA10, and he is 55%, but I have not yet run this unit. So to kind of go over what he does, he is a Terrifying Conquerors leader skill. So if you do not pull Cooler and you pull Salza or Thouser, you definitely still have the category leader at least. He's a category key plus 2 and HP attack and defense at 100%. And then he also causes supreme damage to enemy and lowers attack. That is 20% for 3 turns. His passive skill is attack and defense plus 20% per Terrifying Conquerors ally on the team. So if you're running pretty much Terrifying Conquerors, he's gonna do some magic, at least in this team. He launches an additional attack and has a chance of becoming a super attack when there is an ally whose name includes Cooler in the name. I mean, let's be real, if you're running Salzy, you're practically running Cooler. And that is a 10% chance for an additional attack to become a super. And then Link skills are Cooler's Armored Squad, Cooler's Underling, Loyalty, Cold Judgment, Shocking Speed, and Brainiacs, and he fits on both Target Goku and Terrifying Conquerors, of course. So, I'm going to throw this over to the panelists and get their thoughts and feedback as to what they think about the unit. Personally, I think that this unit is really, really good, just based on what I'm reading here, because I haven't, like I said, I have him, but I haven't really tested him, so I'm just going by first judgment as to what I'm seeing based on the unit itself. And I really think that this is a cool push for, like, henchmen like this. I wish that they would do more henchmen like this, but it's kind of harder to do with Frieza Squad because not many of them ever stuck around. Like, I don't think we're ever really going to get a perfect Doria or Zarbon card unless it was something that we haven't already seen. Like, I think the OG LR Frieza is, like, the only one that actually features their faces in a card art. But, yeah, so I'll throw this... Go ahead.
There's like SR Dodoria.
Well, yeah. There's like rare Dodorias too and Zarbons as well, but they haven't really got like their better units. Like a transforming, like in my opinion, Zarbon would be cool, but
oh, that'd be cool.
But yeah. So, anyways, we're not talking about the Frieza squad. We are talking about the Cooler squad. So I will throw this over to the panelists. I guess I'll throw it over to Alec first because he was the first person to mention why he's so excited for this unit. So Alec, tell us why you're just amazed by this unit.
I wouldn't say I'm amazed by the unit per se, but I find him incredibly useful on his category. And the interesting thing about him is right now we're only talking about the base form, but then he does awaken into Cooler's Armored Squad, which is a different name. So if you do whale out, you do get a bunch of copies of this guy because he will be on every banner coming, you know, because he's an unfeatured SSR.
Yes.
You can effectively run this base form with his awakened version. They link really well together. They both benefit really well from the category that they're on. I mean, I think this is an ideal pay-to-play unit because even once you get your paths unlocked, there's still a use for him.
Yeah, exactly.
I like him. I like what he does. I like his animations, which we'll get to here later. But yeah, I really like this unit.
All right. Tystra, Trevor, what do you guys think about Thouser?
See, I didn't pull him, so I think he sucks. No, honestly, this is one of the units that I'm going to be actually really excited to pull because right now, just from my base Terrifying Conquerors team that I made with the Cooler, it is so much fun to run that team with just the bountiful amounts of key that it has. Adding this to my team would be amazing. So the moment that I get this card, I'm going to be running it, especially with the attack and defense plus 30%, you know, per Terrifying Conquerors. You know, that's already like you have a team of 6. I think it counts itself
7
in there. Or yeah, 7. Yeah,
7.
so 7 times 3, that's 210%.
It's a 20% boost. I may have said 30 when I read it.
You know,
Oh no, it's 30. You're right. Never mind.
It's 30, so you're getting 210% attack and defense. Like, if you're running Terrifying Conquerors, that is a megaton of defense and attack. And just even with the launching of the super attacks, you know, it just makes it an amazing unit to have. I can't say anything bad about this unit.
Yay, because I got plenty of bad. Let's go. Okay, so I don't hate him. I think he's solid. Nothing wrong with him. The only, as a huge team builder person, I don't see any realistic team to put him on, even on his category. Like, cool, he gets a good buff. That's fine. His links are absolute trash. Like, garbage. 3 of his links don't even work with anybody else in the anybody else in the game. He's the only one in the entire game that has Cooler's Armored Squad, Cooler's Underling. I think there's a few loyalty units, but like not a lot.
Yeah.
And Cold Judgment's a defense link. Shocking Speed's 1 key link. Nobody else in the category has Brainiacs. And you get Fierce Battle. So I mean,
Yeah.
why? Like he doesn't even link with Cooler at all. Like he doesn't link with Cooler. I don't think they have any links at all. They might have Shocking Speed. Not super familiar with there's links.
Right.
But they don't. He doesn't link very well. That's for sure.
But
even if it like, luckily, Cooler has innate key, which is cool. But actually, I don't know. Maybe not because he's not in transformation boost. So probably not unless you're fighting 2 people. So I don't even know if Cooler gives him links or gives him key. So I don't know. He's really good, like stat wise, but like in a realistic setting, I don't think he's gonna be that good.
Right.
Well, I mean, his passive kind of makes up for that, and the fact that he's going to be on the Terrifying Conquerors. You're going to need 6 key to bump, like, to pull off his super, of course, because he's only getting the plus.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get the Shocking Speed, then it's only 4 key, which is a normal instance. But with the stat boost that he gets from the attack and defense plus 210% per Terrifying Conquerors category, like, you're already set.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even without the links, I think he's still going to do amazing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. What if you
definitely improve? I mean,
I mean, me and Alec were just talking about, this is another conversation, but me and Alec were just talking about how OP links can be
Mm-hmm.
with like Super Saiyan 4 Goku's pairing with each other for 50% attack boost.
Right.
That's ridiculous. So it just in my opinion, of course, this is all Trevor's weird opinion. He doesn't have any attack links.
Let me lay this team out for you for a second, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So you have Cooler as the leader, obviously.
Mhm.
Okay. You have the awakened version of Thouser, the armored squadron. You
Right.
have this physical version of Thouser on the team. That's one rotation right there, and they're gonna link, and they're gonna have that key. Sure, it's not gonna be like as fantastic as some of the other things that you can do, but I mean, like, imagine if you're trying to make an entire Cooler movie team. I mean, that would be a pretty effective way to do it, just to have one rotation be Thouser and the armored squadron, because they're gonna link perfectly together.
I agree.
Yeah, but okay, I can't go with that because that's not realistic for me. Or I feel like a lot of people. Like, cool, if you wail and you pull 5 copies, or you want to be like me and run 2 different ones, that's fine.
Yeah.
I will
Normally,
not.
normally I would agree with you. On any other unit, like on LRs, I would definitely agree with you, but this unit is literally going to be on every banner going forward. The opportunity to make that happen for this unit is better than any other pay-to-play unit out there.
I know. I can't. My summon luck's
Yeah,
been
nah.
so terrible. I can't justify that as
Right.
reason.
Which
Like,
is fair.
This
which
might
is
take
fair.
me 4 years to pull one copy, let alone another one. You know.
Right.
I
still
hear
have
you.
yet to
I do.
pull unfeatured SSRs on regular, GSSRs. I've never pulled general on half these units.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying,
I'm in the
you
same
know,
boat.
in a
I'm
realistic
definitely in the
setting,
same boat. Yeah. No, I totally
He
get
only
that.
links with himself. Yeah. So yeah, if you have 5, cool, or 6, and you can get another copy, that's cool. Whatever.
I
Whale
agree.
out, make an OP team. If you're me, you didn't pull Cooler, you don't have this guy anyway, but if you did, and you don't have Cooler, I mean, you got the free-to-play Cooler, so there's that, but I don't know, I'm just saying...
It's an
realism-
unrealistic scenario,
Yeah.
but it is a possible scenario, just at a lower chance.
Yeah, cool, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, to me, this is not going to happen, so
I mean,
I'm
that's-
not going to set expectations.
That's what makes a podcast a podcast. I mean, we all just can't sit here every single time and just agree on every little detail. Like,
Well,
there's
and
going to
see,
be
the funny
things
thing
that
is
we
that-
see, like, as what's right, and there are some things that we may not necessarily see that other panelists do, so they can give their insight on certain things. And that's just a way of trying to just grow as a community, just, learn more about the game, and just, when and if it happens to you, where, let's say, maybe you got some super really good RNG, and you may have done, like, 200 to 300 stones on Cooler's banner, but you walked out with more thousands than anything,
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely possible, but it's just more so in your perspective, which I get, is not something that you can see as being something for you personally, which makes sense.
See, my personal favorite part about doing this podcast is you guys change my mind on like you do, seriously. Like, we sit here and we talk it out, and at first I'm like, man, this Thouser's really, really good, and then link skills are a very good point to bring up, because outside of
Mhm.
shocking speed, he really doesn't have a whole lot. But at least he
Yeah.
has shocking speed as far as key goes.
At
Mhm.
least,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because shocking speed works half decently inside this category.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah, no,
So-
yeah. There's some good ones like. Hold on, just give me 1 second. I'm trying to look at the tech free to play.
Yep.
Because he's the one anybody will have.
Yeah.
He does not have shocking speed, so fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's good. He's just not, in my mind, as good as he could be.
Yeah.
No,
Like, I
I
don't-
totally,
like, I
I
know-
totally glossed over link skills when I was looking at this guy's kit, because I almost never think about the link skills as being important to the kit, because
Mhm.
if I like everything else on the unit, I'll figure out a way to make them work. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm the same way. If I want him, right? And let's, like, we're not talking, I wasn't talking about support unit, right? So
Mhm.
you can have support units on the team and be fine. Like, there's multiple in the category, like Metal Cooler, the free-to-play Cooler, and,
Yeah.
Movie Boss is Frieza, could give some key, he's a movie boss, so.
Mhm.
Actually, no, he's not. RIP. Why not? He should be, but anyways, not him, but the two other ones are pretty common at this point, and one's free to play, so
Right.
you could still get a little bit of key, and so he'd be all right. But
Mhm.
in like maybe on a rotation he doesn't have key, he's gonna be very upsetting. It'd be very sad.
All right, and to finish off talking about this specific one before we end up talking about his armored squad's details, he is farmable. He is farmable via this Thouser right here. It is a lengthy grind to do, in my opinion, but if you can get this SR Thouser in any way, shape, or form, and you can go through the habit of farming multiple 21 medals of Coolers first event, Dokkan Awakening this guy, you can use them to feed into Salza. And then also to Dokkan Awaken him, it is the 35 medals. He is farmable. He is farmable, but it's like
No, farmable means
No.
the unit. Can
Oh well,
drop.
yeah, my
You
bad.
have to
His
get it
super
as an
attack is
SR.
able to be raised with another unit, right? As an
Right,
SR
but
unit.
it's a unit that comes out from a banner. It's not a
Right.
farmable.
Yeah.
My bad.
So
I misused my words there.
yeah, we don't
But
want to.
I normally say their SA is farmable, but like when I say that, I normally mean there's a chance to raise his SA. So I tend to mix that up a lot. But I appreciate
It's okay,
you
don't-
bringing that up
don't worry.
on that.
We'll correct you. Don't worry.
I will. I got you.
But yeah, so moving on. My apologies, everyone in the chat as well. But moving on to the Dokkan Awaken, the Cooler's Armored Squad. This is the unit that we have here. This one is Terrifying Conqueror's Key +3 and HP Attack and Defense +120. Basically just a 120 lead for this category. He causes supreme damage to enemy and lowers attack and defense by 20% for 3 turns. Again, if you're having him on the team minus his link skills, he is still going to be really good just depending on how you build the team. You have to literally build it for this unit. With the other Salza that's on Dokkan Awaken, as well as like Strength Cooler. But other than that, his attack and defense plus 30% for Terrifying Conqueror's allies. Per Terrifying Conqueror's allies category on the team. You'll also launch his 2 additional attacks, each of which are at a rare chance to becoming a super attack by 15%. When there is an ally whose name includes Cooler in the name. Same thing with his link skills. He basically just gets Fierce Battle as the added link. And then he also becomes part of the Joint Forces category when he is Dokkan Awakened due to the fact that he's called Cooler's Armored Squad. So other than that, I don't really have anything much else to say about this unit specifically. Like I said, I really haven't gone through testing him myself and see how he would work in my box. I don't really think he's going to. If you guys were in my stream yesterday, my title was literally My Freezer is Cooler Than Yours, because literally my Terrifying Conquerors team is just Frieza. Because I have no fucking other cooler units that I want to run other than Fizz Cooler, so I stuck.
So
well, I
here's
mean,
the
I do have Meta Cooler too, but still. But yeah,
I was just
go ahead.
thinking about this because his thing it says includes Cooler.
Mhm.
Now I'm Dokkan dumb, so does this have to be just Cooler?
No,
Period.
since it specifically says name includes, it can be Metal Cooler, it can be Metal Cooler Army, it can be
Mhm.
any of
So
the any of the colored metal cooler clones.
As long
just
as it
can't be
says
Cooler's Armored Squadron.
yeah,
So
it'll
okay, so
say
it
it
could be
specifically
Golden
there.
Cooler.
Yeah, it could
Yes.
be because
Yes.
it says it like in the passive too, where it says anyone with the specific name is excluded from the team.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So here we go for the links. Golden Cooler has Cold Judgment and Brain,
Right.
so that can be your defense and attack buff.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have first battle, but he's also a support unit, so he'd be off rotation. So on the chance rotation, you'd have
He's
Cooler,
also not on the category.
Terrifying Conquers.
Golden Cooler?
Yeah. Oh, is he not?
I don't believe he is.
Oh, he's not. Well, he's in Transformation Boost.
Yeah, you could run it under Transformation Boost, but then Bowser's
He's
not on
category
Transformation.
either.
Right.
All right. Well, best linking partners out the door. Bye.
So just overall a wonky unit in terms of link skills, but overall I think the unit is pretty decent. You know, finally that they've at least given some attention to units like this. I think is the one thing that we all as like Dokkan players can just appreciate.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, if these guys can get a TUR card that's halfway decent, there's still hope for Garlic Jr.
Yeah. Still hope. That's what we have to cling on to. But alright, so moving on to ultimately close out Cooler and Bowser here. I'm gonna actually go ahead and pause the music for a second so we can go ahead and listen and watch the super attack animations with you guys. So if you guys have not already seen their super attack animations, you can see them now. Never mind, there's no audio on Twitter. Feels
No,
bad,
no,
man.
no.
But we're going to go ahead and play these for you as well. But the animations are really good in my opinion. I think that they're very, very unique. Obviously, I don't even think we need to go into this anymore. Dokkan over the past few months have been making some really insane Dokkan animations for units that they release.
Yeah, animations at this point are just kind of a given. Dokkan has stepped up the game there, but these ones in particular, I mean, they are cut. I mean, like several of the that we've seen in the past, but these ones are straight out of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Like seriously though, in front of the waterfall, the transformation right there, that's beautiful.
Oh, it's
That's
cool.
what we were talking about in my stream, me and JMO and everyone. Like, the Cooler movie was just so good in my personal opinion, just because.
Yeah, it's good.
And the animations are like you said, basically ripped from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. My
Yeah,
favorite.
the super attack is my favorite.
It's legitimately, besides like Super Broly, like the Cooler movie is my favorite movie, just because of how good it was and what it had going for it.
Yeah.
I think that
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
just
go for it.
my favorite thing about his super attack is that I don't know if it's like a movie boss thing, but he shoves the face into the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
Broly does that in his super attack, the AGL one. He grabs your face and shoves it into the mountainside, you know.
Yeah.
And I just love that. It's like that's gotta be a thing in movie bosses now for the rest of time. They all just need to shove your face to the ground. Fuck you! I love it. It's so degrading. It's the best.
Was it the first Cooler movie that they had Deftones in the American dub?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love that song so much because of this movie. Changing the House of Flies.
Yes, I had again, like, I was fanboying about this movie, like, on stream, and I literally pulled up that scene for the transformation, and I was like, as a kid, like, I thought it was just imagining the song somehow, but then I go back and I'm just like, oh my god, that song was actually there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just
Yeah.
sitting there like, oh, they did it so good with the song.
Yeah, I love that
The
DBZ used to
tone.
do that because they added that song for when Broly is coming out. You know?
Oh yeah. Good job,
Yeah.
me! Good job, you!
Yeah, that was so cool.
God.
I was just like, man, Dragon Ball Z knows what's up.
They definitely had really, really good music taste in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My favorite is probably still Lord Slug because they got me into Disturbed, and I thought Stupefy watching like Goku being like a false Super Saiyan was one of the most coolest moments for me personally. But
Oh,
That's a
yeah,
good
true.
movie.
Yeah,
Disturbed
Dragon
is
Ball Z was how I discovered Disturbed too, but it was an anime music video of Trunks fighting Mecha Frieza. And then, like, seriously, a week later, I bought tickets
That's a
to a
fight?
Disturbed concert.
I thought the fight was like 2 milliseconds of him cutting him in half. I didn't really know.
Right. Do you understand what anime music videos
Yeah.
were back then?
Oh, yeah.
This is like pre-2000. I think it was 98 or 99.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
If we're gonna date myself even more than my screen name does.
Oh, yeah.
Old.
Yeah, Dokkan Grandpa.
Get off my lawn.
You know, Disturbed actually comes to Dallas a few months from now.
Nice. It's actually
Might
really
go.
cool.
Might go.
Might have to, man.
I think this is where we get to eat some crow because Ty was right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of that, so if you guys were not here on the podcast with Toon Rami, we did a section where we were talking about what could possibly happen to the Dokkan Festival Cooler banner. And I was on board with Taisha on this, and it turns out they did not change the banner or the units at all. It is literally ripped right from JP. So we
And,
still have the Namek Goku, the Kid Goku, Golden Frieza. Like, I don't know what else to say, but you know, definitely Taisha was the oddball out, but it worked.
No, and like yeah, because like I literally introduced. It's not a question of if the banner is going to change; it's a question of how the banner is going to change, and I'm taking that L, hardcore.
Take the L, take the D.
I will admit one thing, I'm still upset that Kid Goku was in it, I'm not gonna lie. I don't just see how he fits in the banner, personally, but I am not disappointed with how the banner turned out overall. Like, I think Trevor was talking about it earlier, a lot of people's, like, RNG on this banner off the rip was just absolutely insane. I was getting, like, non-guaranteed featured animations and pulling featured units, so... I mean, I don't know, like, the banner just was something else when it first dropped, so if you guys summoned around the time that the banner just released, you were probably getting some good RNG. Obviously, it doesn't really apply to everybody, but for those for those who did, definitely there was a more of a majority of those who did not get shafted.
I got Super Saiyan God my first multi with the I don't know if it's special when they do like the Super Saiyan 2 when he has his 2 fingers and Super Saiyan 3 when he has his fingers, right? I don't know if that's special, but that doesn't happen all the time. So I was really excited when I saw that, and I was like, oh shit, I know what that means. And then I got Super Saiyan God, and I was like, oh shit, I featured, right? No, I got 3 shitty SSRs, no featured. Terrible. Made me so sad.
See, the only featured unit that I got was cooler. Basically, this solidified that Planet Namek Goku is just going to be the new SSJ3 Bardock for me. And I am so upset because it's like, I want the unit just so then that way I don't have to bitch about it anymore.
I mean, he's good though, too.
Yeah, no, he's really good.
I bought the ticket, which, by the way, if you guys are looking at spending money during this time frame for cooler, I think the ticket's a better choice than buying a stone pack, because for what, like $2 more than the 91 stone pack, you get 20 units, which is 2 multis worth of units, and you get a bunch of other stuff that comes with it.
Right.
I mean, I think for your dollar value, I think the ticket's the better option than buying stones if you're only going to buy one thing. Like if you're a minnow and you only buy like one thing every time there's a celebration or whatever, the ticket is probably your better option.
I wish it was like Gohan's banner though. Like,
what do you mean?
Cheap, and then you get 5 units.
Oh yeah,
I would
right.
rather
So
have that.
Yeah.
you could have bought like multiple instead of having to chunk down.
Yeah, I
$35
just
for
hate
one.
the have to. I'm cut with the 35. You know, I wish I could have had like a lower amount to choose.
Yeah.
No, I definitely do agree with that. I do like those lower price point peel-off items. But for me personally, I got Thouser, and that was it for featured units, and then I got a couple of useful dupes of some unfeatured units. But I'm still saying for people who are asking that you shouldn't feel bad if you go in on this banner.
No, not at all.
No.
It's a worthy investment after all. I mean, you're getting one of the most amazing units in the game if you do pull cooler. You have other really good units on there as well. Kind of can go over it again, but like, the trump card Super Saiyan Goku, Golden Frieza, in my opinion, still a really good usable unit. You also have AGL Meta Cooler as well as Fizz Cooler, so it's a worthy investment definitely to summon on this banner. I wouldn't necessarily say, you know, waste 100, or not 100, but like waste over like 300 stones on the banner total. Because I capped out at 150. I don't think I'm going to go back in the banner. I kind of walked out with things that I can just say I'm satisfied with, even if I didn't get cooler.
Man. Yeah, you got some good stuff.
But I would definitely not go more than 150 tops on this banner, and just pretty much just start saving for what's to come. And, you know, who knows what that is. You know, we all have our speculations as to like what's ahead, you know, what's coming out into the game. So, you know, it's good to start getting prepared for things like 5 years as well, especially starting now. If you're done with cooler, if you pulled them, if you didn't pull them, if you wasted too many stones on cooler and you didn't get them, it's definitely worth, you know, knowing your own limit, I guess. And that's kind of why I always cap myself out at 150 per banner if I have the stones to do so. And then I never really go further than that. But yeah, overall,
I applaud your control. I cannot control myself.
I'm doing my selfless plug moment. Sorry guys, I'm doing my my 3 multi tomorrow on stream. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens there. I don't feel very confident in my summons at the moment, but I'm gonna do them. But
The shameless plug right there.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Gotta love it. No, but like the only thing that really gives me pause at all about even investing up to the 150 stones I said I was going to invest into this banner is I still don't know what's coming for Saiyan Day.
Oh yeah, true.
I mean I mean I'm sitting here at 550ish stones right now, so even if I do drop 150 on cooler, I have a cushion for when Saiyan Day comes up, but that's still eating into my 5-year stones. I would like to know what's coming for Saiyan Day before I summon on cooler, but I mean the world's not perfect and I'm going to take my gamble just like everybody else.
Right. And speaking of gambles, I guess we can go on to the next banner that kind of goes hand in hand with the cooler banner. Is we have the category Summon Terrifying Conquerors banner that is out as well.
Skip.
Personally,
skip.
I agree. I'm in the same boat with most of these banners. Things like this, you know, again, just to kind of show you guys off, these banners are ones that feature every LR, or not every LR, but pretty much the
unfeatured.
The unfeatured LRs. So you have a chance to get KC, Go Frieza, Broly, some of the more notable ones there. GT Trio, Godku, you have Baby. And yeah, so this is literally just a filler banner that we get oftentimes. Most category banners are literally just ways for people to want to try to get LRs, and if maybe someone does need a category unit, maybe in the featured section of the cards, it's a banner that some people may risk, but it is definitely 100% skip. Save your stones, no matter what. But just keep in mind, if you have a problem, and you are wondering if this is a banner you summon on, rethink your decision. Do not summon on it. If you're one who just wells out in the game and you have all the money in the world to just spend on a banner like this for the sake of rainbowing maybe any of the featured units, then, you know, have at it. But overall, banner is literally not worth it. I'm pretty sure the rest of the panelists can agree. Maybe someone has a different opinion. I'm not too sure, but what do you guys think, Taisha and Trevor?
As I just played, it's a trap.
I summoned all 3 of my discount time traveler category. Not disappointed. So that's me. But I really loved all the feature units on there as well. Like I almost rainbowed my Fat Boo. It was good. It was fine. I liked it. This one, not the same. I already have 2 dupes in my Evil King Piccolo, who is a really good unit, by the way. Don't sleep on him. He's good. And I have a huge spokesman for this Agile Frieza. I fucking love him. He is really good. Best SBR unit in the game. Okay, he kills SBRs, destroys them, massacres them by himself. He seals and stuns. He's really good. So those 2, solid. If you're an APT guy, that Frieza, the Final Form Frieza, SDR is really good. But I don't think he's good defense-wise, so skip. But that's the only 3. Metal Cooler's pretty good. But I don't know. If you are like me on the Time Traveler banner, I wanted every single one of those units. I would not be disappointed with it. So every summon was good for me. I was like, there was no way they can be disappointment. And I was like, get an LR? Okay, cool, I'll get an LR. But this one, I don't know. It doesn't have enough value.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, if finances weren't as much of a factor as they are for me, I would actually advocate going in for the discounts on these banners. Just because you're getting a multi for a discounted price. I mean, if you can actually use the units. But for free-to-play players, for people who are trying to maximize the value of their stones, if it's got a blue coin, you don't even look at it.
Yeah.
You
I
just
agree.
That's true. I mean, if you're a
They
free-to-play
don't-
player,
They
What
don't.
do
They
you-
don't help you at all.
yeah,
Mhm.
just skip till 5-year anyway.
Yeah. You want those red coins, guys. You don't want blue coins.
Blue
But
coin,
yeah,
blue
so I guess that's gonna wrap up what we're gonna talk about for this banner again, guys. Pretty much, as the panelist said, it's pretty much an easy skip. Unless you're really desperate for one of these units, maybe you need something from here. I mean, take your chances. Roll with the punches. But try to do your best to hold off on something on a banner like this. Honestly, it's just not worth. But yeah, moving on, we are actually going to talk about the Terrifying Conquerors category now, more in depth about it and what units you should be looking for to throw onto your teams. Now, personally, I haven't really built a team around this. This is for me, assuming that I don't have Cooler. I would be using either Thouser or the Tech Cooler's lead, more than likely Thouser, because Cooler I don't even think Dokkan Awakens, or this Tech Cooler doesn't Dokkan Awaken, for more of a in-depth thing there. But yeah, so some units that you get on here are LR Baby, you have Ginyu, LR Metacooler, Bojack, King Cold and Frieza, Full Power Frieza, and the OG LR Frieza with LR Ginyu. Those are the LRs that you can throw on this category. And then here you have the UR list. To mention some really decent units, someone's probably going to say, or I don't know about how people feel about Baby Janemba personally, but you do have the Final Form Frieza here. You have Cooler, Turles, Movie Bosses, and Grade 8. You also have the Raditz and Vegeta, who is not out yet on Global, as you guys can see by the Japanese text. Tech units, Transforming Frieza, ones that I would note for it, because he's literally one of the units I did throw on mine. And Golden Frieza Tech, just because I like the unit. For intelligence, I would probably just run mainly Metacooler, just based on the list itself. And then obviously you have your strength units and your physical units. So overall, in my personal opinion, I don't know what I would build for this myself, but it is definitely an interesting thing to look into. But
I mean,
like I said, in my stream, I pretty much just built an entire Frieza team, so I can't really speak on the fact of looking in towards links and shit to run for the units. But maybe the panelists have... I mean, I guess Taisha is going to be the only one who can give us more of the insight on team building in terms of the fact that he does have Cooler. I'm pretty sure he's tried to at least run him. So, Taisha, is there anything that you found that you'd ultimately have to take with Cooler every time that you run the team?
my biggest thing with the team when I was testing it, you definitely, and I strongly suggest this, you definitely want the physical Final Form Cooler on there.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like, it's his best linking partner because they're both Cooler.
Right.
But the damage that he can do because he's linked up with the STR Cooler that just came out is freaking phenomenal. 2 million, easy, very easy with this card.
And that just, because I don't know if you know, but it's because they share Brutal Beatdown.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a lot of
Yeah.
units have that link skill, and Brutal Beatdown is underrated.
Yeah, no, when I was running the team, I was like, I have to have the physical Final Form Cooler just to see how it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so good. Another good set of cards that I was running was the LR STR Frieza, and I was also running where is it? Sorry, I'm kind of going.
Which
Big
Frieza,
jump
by the
on
way? Because
The
we have the
LR
full
STR.
power, and we
Oh.
also have the first
First
form.
one, I think.
Okay,
Full power.
okay.
No, I was
Oh,
running
power
full
kicks
power.
ass.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Just
the
to
only
clarify.
thing that sucks is that, with his ultimate, you lose 7% of your health, but that's not going to matter because you're literally just going to nuke him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also running Transforming Frieza as well, the tech one.
Right.
He gains health every turn. So.
Yeah, so it's like you spend the health, especially when you have them both on rotation, or not on rotation, but on one of your rotations. So literally, you're spending the health and then regaining it back.
Right.
You know, it's super useful. And then I would put Tech Golden Frieza on my off rotation, and then obviously one of the coolers, and then I can't remember. I think it was my LR Meta Cooler Army as off rotation as well. And if I couldn't pull them exactly the way I wanted to, like I would also like I would basically just switch off between like putting Metal Cooler on there because of how many attacks he can do. But in all honesty, like 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get your first rotation with STR Cooler with Physical Cooler, and then your second being Transforming Frieza and your
full
LR
power.
LR full power Frieza. So, but
That's assuming if you have the units, of course, because I don't know
Yeah.
how many people actually have the full power Frieza. I've seen plenty of them though.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
it is heavily dependent if you have it. But if you have that team, like in my personal opinion, like I haven't experimented too much with the different units, but just from that team alone made me go, oh my god, this team is broken just by the damage it can do. And I'm just like sitting here, my heart
I have
bursting out of my chest.
I have a different team, obviously, because I didn't pull Cooler, and I don't have Thouser. But I'm not using Tech Cooler's Elite retard. So they're all extremes units. So what I did, so if you want to have the category still but don't have Cooler, this is an option. Tech Frieza First Form is an Extreme Type 120 lead.
Yep.
So you can always run him. So that's what I'm doing. So I have him on rotation with SDR Cooler Friend. They link really well with each other. Especially after he transforms, they get really good. Another thing that I've been doing is I have Fizz Movie Bosses free-to-play Golden Frieza. He links insanely well with most of the team that I have. And he raises super attack on when he supers, and I put way too many additionals into mine. So he does like he almost does 2 supers every time. And 2 supers, when you raise attack by 30% for the rotation with Cooler, is absolutely fucking nuts, dude. Like 5 mil attack stat easy. Like it's stupid. Like it's retarded, and I love it. That even if you get him linked with I don't have any other team, or Easy A. I have Easy A Metal Cool as a support unit, and then I'm running Tech Cool because I don't have the strength, so he's good for the. And my main rotation is Tech Frieza and STR Cooler Friend. The next rotation is LR Baby and LR Bojack together. They actually link really well. They both have Shattering the Limit, Thirst for Conquest, and Big Bad Bosses. So if you're under 80% health, they slap people. And then if you have the movie bosses, so everyone on the team's a movie bosses except for Baby.
Right.
But that's fine because Baby doesn't need shit. Anybody, he's his own unit. He don't get. But yeah, it's really really fun. I really love it. It's really interesting to try to make the team without using all Wicked Bloodlines because it's really easy to do that.
Yeah.
So if you can not do that, like it's gonna be really good when not like Dabura will link really well with Cooler, and then Fritos and Raditz, maybe Spopovich. You know, just a couple of units that we don't have yet would be really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, there's definitely options. If you don't have Cooler, that's what I'm.
All right, so Alec, is there anything that you'd like to bring to the table since you are the oddball out here with your crazy team builds that I know you can do? Is there anything that has stood out to you while we've been discussing units that we take?
Well, the amount of free-to-play love in this category is great. Like, I mean, with what we have currently on Global, with what we know is coming up on Global, you can build a free-to-play team for this that will maybe not, like, slap a whole bunch of, you know, harder events. Like, it's not going to take you through Legendary Goku.
Right.
But but you'll be able to build a free-to-play team that will be fun to run in things like Boss Rush, I think. I mean, even using the, what is he, a 50% lead for the cooler? I mean...
No, he's only 30.
Or 30%?
Yeah.
So you can throw the entire Ginyu Force on there to back him up if you wanted to. They're all on here.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're all free to play. Most people should have them. I mean, and if you don't have them, what are you doing? Get on that.
You could run the Agile.
There's, you've got, just looking through the category, you've got a bunch of LRs that are free to play. You've got Ginyu Goku, you've got the physical Ginyu Force, Metal Cooler, Prime Battle Frieza, the Mecha Frieza, and King Cold. I mean, those are all free to play LRs. They may not link well together, all of them necessarily. But I mean, you're talking about when this team eventually gets something where they're like the bonus for drops, you have some options there.
Yep.
And then anytime you can get free to play LRs on a category when you're making a free to play team, it just boosts the power of the team that much more.
Yep. I completely
We're
agree.
also getting the new Raditz and Vegeta that are coming in the 5-year. They're going to be on there.
Yeah.
Was the Broly and Ba on this one? No, I don't think so.
No.
No, I don't think so.
But no, there are definitely a significant number of free-to-play units on here that are solid. Like I said, you're not going to be necessarily taking out the hardest stuff in the game with a free-to-play Terrifying Conquerors team, but you're going to find as a free-to-play unit that you can use this team to do a lot of stuff.
Alright, so
Yeah.
before we move on to this as well, I'm kind of just going to run you guys over the team that I took. It's not anything impressive, but it is there. So I was taking, I wasn't even taking Thouser as a lead. I think I was running Wicked Bloodline category. So I pretty much threw in Frieza units. I did make sure to take Tech Golden Frieza and Tech Transforming Frieza. I used, for myself personally, I was using the free-to-play EZA for Second Form Frieza, just because I really like taking the unit.
Yeah.
And then I took Full Power Frieza here and Fizz Cooler. That was pretty much my build. Only running the one cooler, obviously, but for the sake that I didn't really want to test Bowser out, because at the time he was only an SSR, and I didn't really farm him or get him to UR at that point. He's not even Dokkan Awakened still. But yeah, so I was just making a Wicked Bloodlines team for it, and I was just kind of testing around with the freezes and stuff, and I'll try to see if there's a way I can fit in like the Tech Cooler and Thouser at some point. Maybe I'll get a different perspective if I ever stream my main global at that point again. So, but for now, it is up in the air. Honestly, I think the team is really fun to use. I like taking... It's weird because I hate Frieza as a character in my personal agenda. People in my streams know this. I hate Frieza, but I love the team so much in Dokkan. It just works so fun for me, and I just think it's amazing to play around with. So, if anything, I'm pretty sure I may have taken Turles as well at some point in that, along with this Metacooler here. Also really fun units for me just to take around, because I really do like both of those units as well. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the section of talking about what you can run. I mean, my team is definitely just more for funds, more for looks, rather than what's, linking well and shit like that. You guys already know me. I'm not one to look at all the text that's on the card, as opposed to just picking what I find is my more favorite unit to run just for the sake of the card arts and essays. But it was a fun team to run. Definitely had a lot of good moments with the team as well. But yeah, so that wraps up this section, and I think it is time to talk about the actual Cooler event. So this event here is pretty much where you farm Cooler's medals. And yeah, so it is, for the first stage you do get 3 to 6 medals as a drop when you do Z hard, and then super obviously you get the 7. And let's also talk about the medal sum up while we're here as well. You basically get Thouser as well from this event too. It's 35 medals, I believe, just for him alone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 35 for the physical Thouser, 77 for Cooler, so you're looking at 112 total. Medals to farm if you have both units, of course. Even if you don't have both units, I stress this a lot of the times, even though I may not do it myself, but if you don't have the units, at least farm the medals, pre-farm them before you get the unit. And if you never even get the unit, and then somewhere down the line, like maybe in 6 or 7 year anniversary, if Dokkan is around at that point, then you'll be like, oh look, I have the 77 medals, and I could just awaken him the minute I pull him, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know if there's anything else the panelists would like to add about this specifically, but I will throw it over to them.
I'm just gonna say I put this event in the show notes just for sake of completeness, since it did add a new stage. Super Saiyan Goku is the character that has the bonus in this event.
Yeah.
It's really not needed. It's really easy.
It is.
Yeah, that actually.
But if you want to just flex, you know, it is here for the sake of just wanting to use a Goku.
If you want to be like me, you can just take Angry Goku in there, the Strength Angry Goku in there, just to make for laughs. He's angry. He will hit you.
But yeah,
I just
so
like it. Also, if you just want to go in there and just look beautiful animations to beat the shit out of you, that's always fun too.
you cut out too, by the way.
Oh, I was just saying how much I like to go in there and just look at just Cooler beating the shit out of you. It's fantastic. I love it.
So yeah, that is the. I think this is where we finally end the full summary of Cooler. Well, actually, not yet. We still have one more thing to talk about. The Strongest Rivals renewal of the event, and I'm pretty sure you can farm all the stones out of this again. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, event renewal means that even if you completed the old version.
So, it is 7 stages. Obviously, that's 14 stones total. Because there's a normal difficulty and a Z hard difficulty. You get 1 stone for each completion until the very end, I believe. And then you also get missions that you can get more stuff from. So when you clear all the stages on normal and Z hard, you are granted 2 extra stones. If you clear stage 5 once, you also get an extra cooler. And then if you clear it with a Bloodlines category, you also get an additional stone from that. So worth the farm, honestly, if you guys have not started this already. Other notes to keep in mind about this sum up as well. If you're looking to farm any of these coolers here, or more for the sake of it, the Intelligence SR cooler, this is your metal sum up that you need to Dokkan Awaken him. And these are the other units that you can use this cooler to raise these essays of the Agile cooler, the Tech cooler, and the Physical cooler. Is it a worthy farm? Fuck no, in my opinion. I was one who put myself through this torture for the sake of Fizz Cooler, because I had so many SR coolers, and it is not fucking worth it, so I wouldn't recommend doing it. But if you're a masochist like me in certain events like this, then I guess you'll go ahead and do it anyways. And there's nothing else to really note anymore in this either, when I think about it. Like, I'm looking at the drops too. I mean, Senzu Beans you barely take anymore, and I guess if you're low on training items, but the 0 to 1 and then the 0 to 2 drop is just not worth.
Yeah, the thing about using the int cooler for super attack, that was much more useful in the old, because you did have a chance to have that unit.
Yeah.
So that int cooler used to be farmable, but he's not now. Since he's not a farmable unit anymore, I would say it's not worth it. I mean, if you want to stockpile a bunch of int coolers in your box on the hope that maybe you'll be able to raise one, that's totally your call. I personally don't like to have a bunch of dupes in my box. But yeah, it's not a worthwhile farm, like you said, especially since now that you can't actually farm the unit.
Yeah.
I will throw in there that you get those medals like candy, dude.
Yeah, you
like,
do.
It's ridiculous. I have like 60 and I only ran it 1 time. I didn't farm it or anything. I have like 60 of each of them. I'm like, dude, calm down. I don't even want these medals. But yeah, I don't know. One day, in some far off land, those Final Form coolers will get easy A's and I will love life. But until then, yeah, it's not worth it right now. But until then.
Alright, so apparently we're still not done with cooler either. We have to move on to now the tech cooler. So I should have just called this the cooler stream.
It pretty much
Cooler
is.
Day.
Up
Yeah,
a little.
it is.
Once
It is
we get
indeed
past,
cooler
once we
day.
get past current events, it gets a little better.
Yeah. Alright, so to kind of dove into what this is, if you guys are unfamiliar with it already, this is the tech cooler that you can farm in the previous event that we just showed you. He is the free-to-play Terrifying Conquers category leader. He gives them Ki +2, HP attack and defense plus 30%, and he also raises defense infinitely by 30%. So, in terms of that, he's worth taking. So, I mean, if you have nothing better, if you can't pull that cooler, he's definitely something that you're going to want to farm. Being free to play, you should farm it anyways. Passive skill is attack and defense plus 40%, and then Terrifying Conquers, category allies, key plus 2, and attack and defense plus 30%. Link skills are Strongest Clan in Space, Thirst for Conquest, Cold Judgment, Brutal Beatdown, Metamorphosis, and Nightmare. And then he's also part of Movie Bosses, Transformation Boost, Wicked Bloodline, his own category, of course, and Target Goku. Overall, I have not fully rainbowed this unit yet. I don't think I plan on it, personally, but definitely something that I'm going to test maybe at least at 55% with a Wicked Bloodline team, just for me personally, because I don't really want to run Thouser just yet until he's fully Dokkan Awakened. But I also want to point out, in terms of, like, this unit, one thing that I find really cool is the super attack animation, or not the animation rather, but the quote that goes along with this unit. I think that's just something really spectacular about the unit. I don't know why, but
I never pay attention to these, so I'm glad you brought that up, because I would have never looked at it.
Yeah, Anthony always does that.
I do,
Every time we talk about a
honestly.
unit, that's the one that's the thing he looks at.
First thing I look at is what does the unit say in the middle of a super attack?
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of adds life to this character, honestly. But overall, I haven't really tested him, so I can't say too much about the unit. So I don't know what Taisha and Trevor think, so...
Yeah, I have tested him. Because I don't have Cooler, so he's been my main Cooler unit.
Mhm.
So first off, I will preface that you can farm this guy to raise the SA of Strength Cooler. We talked about that already. He also, if you want to farm for the Agile Cooler, Baba Shop, to make it a little easier on yourself, you can do that as well. But I will say that I don't know if he's the best unit. Like, he's a
wouldn't
solid
think so.
support. He's fine. Just in the category, there's Easy A Metal Cooler, which is a way better support than him. And I've been using Movie Bosses Frieza, who is a better support than him, because he does more, like, versatility, I guess.
Right.
But of course, you're not using everybody who's a Movie Boss on the team, then of course you have to use him. But I don't know. If you have Cooler, you can't run him anyway. But
Yeah.
he's decent. I mean, his stats are kind of low, so the raising defense kind of takes a second. So early on, he gets smashed. But I don't know. It's up to you. Like, if you're a free-to-play player and this is all you have, he's fine. Like, he's a good unit. He's got a lot of attack links. Thirst for Conquest, Brutal Beatdown, Night. It's really good. But other than that,
I mean, I say go after him because he's a free-to-play unit. Pay-to-play player or free-to-play player, you should be every free-to-play unit to up to super attack 10 with paths on. Not saying put.
oh yeah, I mean, I haven't rainbowed, but yeah,
Yep.
I'm just,
I
But-
I'm just
completely
saying.
agree.
If the game has taught us anything in the last few months, it's that they will find a reason for you to use free-to-play units. That
True.
reason is going to be Extreme Z areas. Just get it out of the way now so you don't have to complain about it later. Like, literally every free unit in the game you should farm up. I mean,
I agree.
it takes time. It's a big investment. You might not do them all the first time they're around, but the events come back. I just say, just do it. Do it as fast as you can. Get it done. Not maybe spending stones to refresh your stamina to do it. That's totally not worth it. That defeats the point of a free unit.
Yeah.
But I mean, just when you got some extra time sitting around in your lunch break at work, or while you're sitting here watching a podcast, maybe, I don't know, you could you could be doing some stuff to raise up your super attack.
I agree.
Yeah, I just want to say that I wasn't saying don't farm him. I was just like going usefulness wise.
Yeah.
Whether you're gonna actually use him or not.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the HP or the defense stats, especially at max. I'm kind of put off by not even the 10k, but as a free-to-play unit, I guess it's expected. But overall, I think the unit does deserve some attention, at least to farm up. If you're a collector of any sort in any card game like this, or even a real card game outside of, mobile games or just gaming in general, this is definitely something to take account in and just have just for the sake of collectors if you want it on your account. And it's definitely something neat to just have in your box. And then I guess since Taisha is on a break, he's not back yet, we're going to go ahead and just move on from this, and we can kind of just talk about the cooler units, I guess. Did we need to talk about this any
no,
further?
it was just to show which units can have the super attack raised.
Right. So
that's all that is.
Just a quick recap for those who may just be tuning into the stream as well. I'll put it in perspective for you guys. So, yeah, is there anything else before we close out Cooler?
I think we're finally done talking about Cooler now.
All right, so let's move on. So we're gonna basically now be switching over to the current events of Dokkan. And we were kind of starting to get into that with the ultimate transformation. We went to the renewal of the strongest rivals. We talked about Cooler. And now we go to this, Curse of the Blood Rubies. And this is a returning event, right? This has been out before.
Oh,
yeah. The next, 4 events are all returning event here.
Mm-hmm.
I think really these are just here to kind of cover the fact that they're here, so people are aware of it, and we can just really quickly touch on a couple of things. We don't need to go too in-depth into a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. You can farm blood rubies from this. We will show you what all of that entails here in a minute. Also, I mean, you basically get an LR.
Who is really good.
Yeah, so... the Goku and Raleigh is one of the best LRs. I mean, I shouldn't say one of the best. It is a very good free-to-play LR. And I just realized this morning that I'm capable of running an entirely LR Dragon Ball Seekers team free-to-play, and I think that's a lot of fun too.
Dragon Ball Seekers is one of those teams that I love to run. It's one of my top 5 favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely
love really
Dragon Ball
interesting
Seekers.
category.
It just it's to me, for some reason it's so bouncy. It just feels like you're constantly upbeat the entire time when you're doing events. I don't know if you guys get that sense when you play certain teams.
A little bit.
Especially when
there's a lot of youthful energy on that team.
Exactly. You got LRGT Trio, you got Kid Goku, you got LR Goku Arale, and it just brings a smile to my face, almost nostalgic in the sense.
I agree.
So, but to put it in perspective too, the last hour, I've been running the event while doing the stream for the Blood Rubies, and I've already gotten 1 Elder Kai done, and I'm almost done getting the 2nd Elder Kai from the Blood Rubies. So it's a really easy grind. So
yeah, that's there. Those are there just to show that you can raise the Kid Gokus.
Mm-hmm.
This event in and of itself, like I said, it's been back several times. Most people have probably done it. The thing you should note though is that the Blood Ruby shop has been refreshed this time around.
Yes.
So everything is back, and which means you need to farm up your, what is it, 70,000 Blood Rubies to get all your Kais?
I believe so, which you also get on Stage 5. Recommend doing it on Z-Hard, by the way, just for those who may not realize the drops. But yeah,
so
definitely
do
Z-Hard, use your boosts, and then these are pretty much your rewards that you can get from your Blood Rubies. You can actually get Pasta here. You can get all these Elder Kais, worth the farm. Please do it. I recommend everybody do this, at least just for the Elder Kais in general, especially if you're one who wastes Elder Kais. Me? What? I didn't say that.
I definitely. I am a hard proprietor of wasting Elder Kais on units.
You get other things such as Z swords from Blood Rubies. You can get extra Zenny, which, I mean, who really needs that anymore when you have a Hercule event that runs around every day. You can get Hourglasses if you really need to reverse units for whatever reason. Maybe you're low. Maybe you did a whole month of just reversing every unit in the game for whatever reason. If you're weird like that, like me. And then you can also get Elder Kais and Supreme Kai medals. But really, I think the more important part to look for here is mainly just the Elder Kais and Pasta if you're looking just, again, for collector's purposes on this event specifically. Overall, I don't know if there's anything else to note, minus...
The wiki doesn't show it, but there's also story keys available. I don't remember if it's from Blood Rubies.
I don't think it's from Blood Rubies necessarily. It's in a different one.
There's some in the shop for some of these events.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily for this one specifically. Other things to note if you're interested.
Sorry.
Other things to note if you're interested. Maybe you're low on AGL training items. Not the greatest ones, but they are there if you want to just for whatever reason farm some extras. That is totally up to you. Again, just to show you guys the main unit that you're going to be getting from this event. He's been out before. If you guys do not know about this unit, this is the Goku Arale that you pretty much get from the Blood Rubies event, who is the Dragon Ball Seekers category that Alec and Taisha were literally just talking about. A very fun category. I don't think we really need to dive too much into this. They've been out for quite a while, as you guys can see. They released date back in May, so almost a year old now. So if you do not know this unit, or if you even play JP, you better fucking know this unit. But yeah. So do you want me just to do a quick rundown on this event, or this unit rather?
I think most people know what this unit does. If not, guys, go check out this unit. It's definitely worth the time to farm. But just for the sake of time for today's episode, because we still have a lot more.
Yeah.
Just gonna kind of blow through the next couple of things really quick.
Right. Alright, so moving on from the Blood Rubies, we have Sleeping Princess in Devil's Castle, which is also back.
Sleeping what?
Sleeping Princess in Devil's Castle.
Oh, sorry, you cut out there.
Oh, my bad. Nice, let's go. So yeah, this event is back as well.
Ones.
I know, right? It's the first time, I think, in my entire life. But yeah, so this event, things to note, you can get the Sleeping Princess things for your shop. As well, this is pretty much just a returning event. With this is where you get the story keys, pretty much. For this one, you also have the opportunity to get, again, more Elder Kais. The same thing as before, you have your Elder Kai medals, your Supreme Kai medals, your Hourglass, your Hercule statues, and your Z swords. Again, probably just one of those few things that you might want to get the story keys for, or the Elder Kais mainly. But yeah. Just things to keep in mind that these are back. These events are going to be around until when? I'm not even really sure on that.
Give me a second, I'll double check.
So I want to, while we're looking at that, I just want to let everybody know that there is with the Blood Rubies, you can get Pasta, Intellect Pasta, who is a very slept-on unit, guys. Like, for free to play. She lowers attack. She has a medium chance of evading the attack. She lowers enemy defense by 80% for 2 turns, and then has a medium chance of stunning for also 2 turns. So that's pretty crazy, okay?
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot to even include that
pretty
unit.
good.
She is pretty good.
Yeah, I love her. I'm gonna Rainbow her this event.
You have until the 18th of March to do all this stuff.
Gotcha. Alright, so moving on from that, we also have the Mystical Adventure. That is another thing that is back as well. And this one has a Ran shop where you basically farm these from level 5. This is basically just the last stage of this event in general. Again, things to note, you can get AGL orbs, or not orbs rather, but training items. You have some training locations here, some extra medals, more training items and shit. But moving on to this as well, Ran is another one where you can get story keys from, and then the list pretty much just is in repetition of everything else that we've showed you guys so far. So in total, I mean, it is a lot of Elder Kais that you can make out of this between the Ran and between the Blood Rubies and the other one. I mean, you're pretty much you're pretty much just you're pretty much just sitting on yeah.
It's good.
So it's definitely worth to do if you have not even touched this yet. Get on this at least once, you know. So
yeah, and the grind's not really that bad. I mean, Dragon Ball units is a Dragon Ball Seekers is a really easy category. So Gaming Force is all in it. So
yeah, and like I pointed out earlier, you can make an entire free-to-play LR team, which gives you the maximum bonus. Plus, you can use your boost on it. It really, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, this especially Ran. Just, I mean, like things. The Kai only costs 15. Like that's nothing, dude. I get like almost 3 a run sometimes. So 3 or 4 if I'm lucky. So yeah, you can get quite a few, and it goes really fast. So
I agree. But yeah, so that is the sum up of this, and you know, all our nice shop things that we want to help you out with today in this. We also have the Flight 10 Billion Power Warriors event that is also back. This is where you basically can get this guy as a drop. Never really used him. He's just kind of a filler. But this is also where you can farm every single type cooler with the same card art.
the Cooper Troopers.
The Cooper Troopers.
Overall, Go
I
ahead.
like that little agile robot guy. I don't remember what they're called, but I like them.
I actually have him in my box at SA10, along with all the coolers from this that are rainbowed. So I went
actually
that
rainbowed?
route. Yeah, no, every type cooler is rainbowed.
I was considering doing it for a stream, but I don't have enough orbs to rainbow a unit of every color right now.
I got.
Yeah, I could
got
all
the
path them, but I can't.
Was it worth? Probably not, but it was a fun thing to just have. You know, it's the extra clout chasing there to sit there
Yeah.
and
There's a say that you did
freaking
it.
rainbow them.
Another thing to note about this event is that it's actually very farmable with the level 2 Cooler's Resurrection. If you do the Z hard, you get the gravity chambers, and
Mhm.
honestly, like, I slept on those hard when I first started Dokkan. Those things are better than your base boost 20,000, 30,000, 50,000.
I
In
agree.
my personal opinion. Like,
Yeah, they are.
oh, it's just do
Oh, yeah.
not sleep on that. Farm the hell out of those, because
Mhm.
trust me,
Yeah,
you'll
they're not as good as
regret
the
it.
500 gram gravity chamber or whatever, but
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still
Well,
good.
I mean, of course, those are like top tier.
those
Yeah.
are gone.
Yeah.
And to kind of get you guys into the last bit of this event, if you guys want the extra metal sum up, I'll go ahead and bring it up for you guys right now. This is how many metals you're going to need in total. If you're going
Oh,
to
God.
plan on doing the intelligence cooler, if you're going to do the entire cooler squad, etc. This is quite a crazy number of metals that you're going to need if you're going to do the full 9 yards. And I was that person to do it, but would I recommend you guys to do it? Probably not. But if you want it just for the sake of doing it, it's fun to do. Honestly, I wouldn't really recommend it, but I had a lot of fun doing it. It was a good waste of time, but it was a fun waste of time at all in one. So
You know.
We should probably note that physical Cyclopean guard is no longer.
yes, I didn't even remember about him, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have given him the time of day except for I saw him in the medal sum up and wait, that guy's not available anymore.
And then to kind of go
also-
through this as well. Go ahead, Trevor.
That strength SSR cooler is the easiest to farm for SA raising for other metal coolers.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah, the one that drops on stage 3.
I've been
Yep.
doing that to farm my EZA cooler.
Yeah, I mean, really, guys, save your Kais as part of, like, Dokkaning responsibly is knowing when and where to use your Kais. Guys joke about burning and wasting their Kais or whatever, but
Oh, I'm not joking. I waste and burn my Kais.
Oh,
That
dude.
part wasn't a joke.
Don't follow their example. I'm not.
I
I'm not
spent
trying to
10 Kais.
responsible people
Buddy.
here.
I spent all 10 Kais one time on agile, finish buster, trunks from GT. 10 Kais.
I'm,
No shame. I don't give a fuck.
I'm a,
I mean, if it helps, if it helps, I used 9 Kais just recently on Thouser, so
Done.
I used to be the guy that like just did Kais on whatever unit I wanted that came out. But in all honesty, you do want to Dokkan responsibly.
I
Well,
agree.
Don't do the bad things, guys.
Seriously, my account is at like 235 days back to the game, and I've been doing my best to farm up all of my super attacks. I have a ton of units at super attack 10, and I barely use Kais. The only time I even consider using a Kai is if the unit doesn't have any form of farmable super attack, and then I really have to sit and be like, okay, do I use the Kais on this character? Or do I use it on one of these other characters that doesn't have a farmable super attack? Spending Kais is like so hard for me. Because I like hoard them like a resource. I'm like, no, you can't have my babies.
Pretty much.
I just spent 6 strength Kais on EZA strength Beerus yesterday.
Mhm.
I almost did it on PyCon, dude. I was 2 seconds away. I was like, no, I can't. I can farm that. I can't. I can't do it. I almost did though. It was really close.
Alright, and I guess we're moving on from that. This is what's upcoming. These are pretty much our current events that we will be seeing here throughout the month of March, for the most part. So Genius Bulma's Battle Prep is coming back in anticipation that we are getting a World Tournament. What is this now, 32nd World Tournament that we're getting?
Yes.
Pretty sure. And
Yeah, it's 30
I didn't even realize this, but a good thing to note is that this timer continuously counts down, so you guys can see here from how long it'll be available, or
The wiki is
until.
so
But yeah,
great.
it is just absolutely
I love
stunning.
The wiki.
So from there, we also have the Extreme Z battle for Omega. We have the Vegeta Jr. making their appearances on the 12th, along with the Shadow Dragons of Despair. That is coming back. And then obviously we have our GT, yeah. Pretty much is our entire GT lineup, story events coming back all through March. And then our 32nd World Tournament will start on the 13th. And then I'm excited for this personally. Don't at me. I am excited for the Bizarre Rabbit to come back because I am one of the most insane people to sit there and rainbow Bunny Bulma.
So, yeah, Bunny Bulma. Yeah, I'd do that. Anyway, I'd rainbow that. Hold on. Back off. Anyway, no, yeah, like I have abused all of these little stupid events that come across, like the rabbit event. I'm basically done with it. I farmed up. I think the medal summary on that is like 400 and some odd medals. I have them all already. I'm ready for whatever I need them for. But I think like we really just burned through these really quick because in next week's episode we're going to go into them a little bit more because they will still technically be upcoming events next week because they don't actually come out until the 16th or the 12th.
The 12th, yeah, which would be a Thursday. So it's it's 2 days after the next podcast that we do.
So that's why we're not really spending a whole lot of time on this. A couple quick things to note is if you're working on LR Baby, his medals are in the Black Star Dragon and the Baby Saga stuff for GT. There's also a bunch of farmable units that are going to be coming through there. They're not anything spectacular, but again, you never know when an easy area is going to use them, so just get them done.
Yep.
Knowing our luck, Super Baby 2 is going to get an easy A area. It's going to need stupid Gohan and Trunks. Now I'm killing myself.
Can't be doing that, man. We need you here in the podcast, my guy.
The Global Gang podcast does not endorse self-harm.
Do it.
Don't do it. No, but their grind is actually ridiculous.
Yeah,
like
no, I'm still working on just Gohan, so
yeah, they're
events released, I'm gonna be working on every single one of them, and I'm gonna hate my life.
Oh, I'm gonna rainbow the Super Baby 1 that drops the free to play, and that's gonna be great as well.
But yeah, I'm mainly looking forward towards the Bizarre Rabbit event and the Adventure of Gratitude. I think I finished everything in here, but just keep in mind that this is also coming out on the 16th along with the Bizarre Rabbit because we kind of didn't give that event some love as well. But it is there. It is there just to keep in mind. But this is pretty much your March lineup. We will get more into this next week, as we said, because it still won't be out by then. So we'll probably do more of a deep dive into a lot of the GT stuff on next week's episode. And now, this is going to probably be the longest section, but it is also a new section that we are adding, am I right? More so in-depth, rather, on the features of this?
So, over the course of the next few weeks, we're going to go through some of the websites, online resources, and things that are available to us, to everybody, really. And we're just kind of introduce you to all of this week. We're going to start with DBZ space because I felt like we could stick it all in one episode. When we do the wiki, that's probably going to be 2 or 3 episodes that we're going to devote strictly to the wiki. But this one, I felt like we could blow through a lot of this stuff really quick.
Yeah.
And do the whole website in one episode.
So to get started, if you guys are unfamiliar with DBZ.space, well, here it is in a nutshell. This is a website that pretty much just gives you all information on Dokkan. Now, if you click on the top right corner here, this is pretty much its main menu page, and this basically allows you to switch between just about everything that you need to know. So if you're looking for friend finders, APKs and mods, Reddit posts, a whole bunch of different things. You can even have an account set up where we'll get into that towards the end of this. I want to save that for last as I have a spare tab open for it. I didn't really sign up with it yet. I might do that at some point, but we'll get into that. So in here, you pretty much have the opportunity to switch between both versions of the game. So if you want to see the news in JP, you can pretty much do that. If you want to see the news on global, you pretty much just click the globals tab. And then when you go under gameplay, you pretty much have cards, links, items, quests, events, summons, and things like that. So the first part that we're going to go ahead and talk about are the gameplay cards. Now, this one is probably one of the most useful things. I use this every single time I'm looking for units. If I'm looking for art specifically too, for whatever reasons, I tend to just mainly use it for that. But this is a very good resource if you're looking just for units in general. This has a variety of ways that you can search for your units. They have lists where you can pretty much just go ahead and assort this by a whole bunch of different things, potentials, averages, and things like that. You also have things to separate by rarities. So let's say you were looking for a unit that you wanted that was a UR, for example. Let's say the unit was an AGL unit. Let's say it was an extreme type unit. You can even go by the names of the units. So if you wanted something from here specifically, like even if you didn't want any of this and you just wanted all units Goku or ones that had Goku in the name, you can pretty much do that with this website. Obviously, he's not going to show up under AGL Extreme units, but this pretty much just gives you the sum up of all the Extreme AGL units based on what I put here. So it's going to give me all the AGLs, it's going to give me all the URs only. You can do it whether they're Dokkan Awakenable, and then it just pretty much sums it down to the ones that can Dokkan Awaken, or if you put no, it'll give you all the ones that do not Dokkan Awaken. So it's a very resourceful website if you want to look for things like this. And I rarely use this website, but I don't use it for the sake of going in depth with a lot of this stuff. But so this is going to be a learning curve for me as well, and for some of those who may not also use this. You can also separate this into categories as well, where you can pretty much view all the categories necessary. So if you want to look for a fusions unit, if you want to look for a Shadow Dragon Saga, you know, this has everything here listed, pretty much at your disposal. And before we actually go into this, I want to go back to the list as well to also kind of show you guys that if you go to the Japan version of this, you'll see a lot of the Japanese cards added onto this rather than what you will see with global, obviously. So this pretty much adds all the things on the JP side. If you wanted to look at, for example, the new LR Rosé, if you wanted to see the Gogeta, for example, like all of this is here just by simply switching between tabs, and it's actually a really unique feature that I think DBZ Space has. So again, if you're looking for categories, let's say you wanted to build a unit for Cooler, just take him as a rough example, and you want to see what you can run on a Cooler category. This puts this in perspective for you. Basically, it gives you the sub-leader, the actual leader, and then the alternative leader if you do not have Cooler. And then it pretty much just lists every single Terrifying Conquerors unit that you can use in terms of your team. This is also really good if you want to, like I said, we'll get to it at the end here, but there's another useful thing about this website that we'll get into in terms of what you want to add here.
I know what you're talking about. We're saving the single most useful thing for last.
And then if you go through the JP side again, the cards are going to change based on if there's a JP unit that isn't on global. It'll show up in this list here. It works the same way pretty much with all of these tabs. So we'll go ahead and go over to drops next. We're going to go just pretty much in order in terms of the gameplay cards, and then we'll go ahead and do the rest of it. So these are units that are dropped based on all the data stage tiles. They even tell you this, so if you guys are curious as to what any of this is, basically these are all the droppable units in Dokkan. So if there's something that's free to play or you don't know what is free to play, or even things that may not be technically free to play, for example the Hercule statues, this lists just about everything that you need to know for what's free to play and what isn't. If you're struggling, like maybe you're doing an old Fighting Legends Goku event, for example, you can pretty much see what's free to play, and I'm pretty sure there's a restriction on it too. I'm not 100% sure on the Goku event anymore, as I've not done it in so long. But this pretty much just tells you what is free to play in the game, and then if you go over to the Japan side again, you can kind of see that it adds some other units that you won't be able to see. So this Zamasu is a perfect example of that. This as well right here. Our androids 14 and 15. But yeah, it's a very useful website. I really do like this mechanic of just being able to switch between tabs if you're looking for something specific. If you're one who plays JP, you definitely have the option to check the JP side, and it really just helps when you're trying to build your thing. But again, we're saving that for the end. I can't stress that enough. You can also go to the schedules tab, and this tells you what is scheduled to arrive, basically. So, for example, they just have a few things listed here. Things that I guess we should be expecting at some point. I'm not too sure about the like certain units in here.
Let me take a look. I can't see on the screen that I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not caught up with you. I'm not following along. Sorry.
You're
The two
You're
that
good.
the two that could be confirmed, but they don't have a release date due to the fact that we haven't actually gotten a specific release date.
Mm-hmm.
Is Badman Vegeta and Frieza Final Form.
Yeah.
They will be a part of Global's 5th year
Mm-hmm.
as exchange units that
Yeah.
you can get from the shop.
Okay, so yeah, what we're looking at here that are in files, but to the global side of the game. Last week when I looked at this, we had all the cooler units, Cooler, Thouser, the upgraded version of both of those units in there, the free-to-play Cooler, because when we get those data downloads, like immediately after a data download hits, you can almost always go to DBZ space and they will have the schedule updated. So you will see not only what cards are coming, but it also tells you what time those cards are coming, what day those cards are coming based on your time zone.
Exactly.
So all of you who go around, not that I'm saying stop doing this because you don't have to stop doing it, because I will still answer the question every time you ask. But everyone who asks when is so-and-so coming, your answer is right here. This is where I give you the answer. When I answer that question on my streams, when we answer it here, that answer almost always comes from here or the wiki. Both places will tell you when new units are coming and exactly what time they're coming.
And then this also has inactives. So if you're wondering what's out in Dokkan that does not have any real appearance, here you go. Trunks Kid and Goten.
So I'm still sort of confused as to what this page is supposed to represent, because these two cards are literally only in the game as SBR bosses.
I feel like inactive
there's
is
no
basically
playable version of these cards.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what I guess that's why the inactive tab is there. It's basically saying that they're unusable units. That's hence why it's called an inactive tab. So basically they're inactive in terms of the fact that you can't actually have any real way to get the units in your game, or in your box rather, in order to play around with the units. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. And then it's, you know, even the same on JP, and then apparently Tien is added into this. I didn't even take it into account that JP was going to add that, but apparently he's inactive in JP chat. And then last but not least, we have the Extreme Z tab, which pretty much just gives you the entire rundown of every unit that has had EZA potential. So, you know, going from Super Saiyan 3 Goku, for example, and then all the way up until some of the more newer ones like the Vegeta Trunks and Goku Gohan, and along with other things still to come, like Omega, for example. He will be thrown in here, I'm pretty sure, once he officially gets his EZA on Global. So this website will update. It'll keep you up to date with all the new units that are getting thrown into this as well. There should be another unit added into this. Am I right?
What do you mean?
This Gohan? Oh no, he is in here. Okay. With the new EZA that we're also getting, includes like this Gohan here, if I'm not mistaken. The
Right, but
intelligence Gohan.
Currently, only the Agility Goku event. But
Right.
the Trollhan and the Physical Piccolo, they will get theirs during later events.
Yeah. But just keep in mind that they will be listed in this tab if you guys are curious as to what EZAs are in global. And then again, it works the same way with JP. You can pretty much just see all of the other JP units that get EZAs. So you have like the Ba and Broly, you have Vegeta and Raditz as kids, and then obviously you have the LR Goku Black. So yeah, this is definitely a useful thing to go around in if you're looking for things specifically. Like if you're just here to mainly look for units, maybe you want to learn more about it, or maybe you're just starting out in the game and you're just trying to look for something specific and you don't know what it is, but this is a website that you can pretty much do that. So this gives you a catalog of pretty much the entire game as a whole. Very useful, very something I have bookmarked every single time. So if you guys do not have even just normal DBZ space, this page right here, you can pretty much just bookmark this, and then you're good to go in terms of looking at everything else. So definitely 100% worth. Look into it. If you guys are just looking for anything Dokkan, or if you want to look at for what's hot, what's coming out, what's, just pretty much everything under the sun, this website has it. And it's one of the interesting things about this website, and it's why I love using it.
I do want to touch on one thing really quick that's actually not in my notes. Click on a character.
Okay.
And when you open up the sidebar of that character, there's going to be like an area at the top that you can click on where it's got like the picture. It's next to the camera to the left of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now those assets, click where it says like character.png, and you can pull up just the assets for individual parts of the art of the cards. So this is really useful for if you're doing things like creating thumbnails, if you're a creator, or if you're creating a fan site.
Overlays. Me.
I use this all the time. Yeah.
So
I do too.
I just wanted to point that out to everybody else who's not a streamer or not a content creator, that if there is stuff that you're doing, projects that you're working on where you want some Dokkan art, this is a great place to go and get it. And
yeah, this pretty much gives you everything. It gives you the super attack phrases, the names, effects, you name it, the cutaways, the cut-ins, yep. So if you want to just see like the little portions of them, they even have like the pieces, if I'm not mistaken too, on how they show on the little circle on the bottom of your screen when you're actually in an event. So this literally has every little asset possible in Dokkan, or for each unit rather. So there's things in here that you'll probably never see outside of the game. This website has it pretty much there for you. But yeah, I like that Alec brought that up. I honestly was gonna forget that, because I forgot that I use it every single day. Most of my overlays are made through this website. Like, even my current stream overlay is made based on all the LRs that I have, and I pretty much just go here and just get the assets for it, and then, magic happens in Photoshop, and boom, you have Dokkan overlays for yourself. Especially if it's representing a unit that you like, or just for the sake of having a decent overlay for yourself, this is a place to go. It gives you backgrounds. So actually, this is one thing that I want to bring up now. So if you're looking for, a unique background aspect too, you can literally go here to background, and you can get literally the background of this unit. I think that's really cool. You can do it for Goku Black, and I mainly look for units like this specifically, ones that actually have full backgrounds, because when are you going to see something like this? Like, just there, and this is probably one of my favorite ones. Like, I'll use this anytime I make a Bardock overlay, to be honest. Then you have this Tournament of Power. Like, there's just so much stuff, honestly, that you can do just in this section alone. And keep in mind, guys, there is a lot of sections in here. There's still links, there's items, quests, events, and this is all just in cards alone. So there is still a lot to cover. But I think we've pretty much went through all of the gameplay cards, so we are going to go ahead and actually go to our next tab, which is links. And this pretty much just gives you the entire list of link skills. Everything that you need to know about links are pretty much in here. So if you're looking for units that link really well, let's say for example you want someone who has a key link, an HP link, attack and or defense link, you can pretty much just separate it to that specifically. So actually, since we are on the subject of cooler, I'm going to go ahead and use my find key here, and we can just immediately search for Cold Judgment. So if you want to see anything that falls under Cold Judgment, you pretty much just click on here, and it pops up every unit that has Cold Judgment. Anyone who has that link skill will show up pretty much in this list, and you pretty much just scroll through all of the units here. Very useful if you're wondering what has what. Maybe there's a reason why you're looking for units who may have it. For example, if you're looking for a defensive unit, this is the place you can go, and then you can also go ahead and cancel out a lot of these types. So if you wanted to just look at strength units that have Cold Judgment to boost their defense by the 20%, you pretty much have a list of just the strength units that do that, and it's a really useful mechanic if you haven't known what else to do. There's obviously other websites that you can use, Dokkan Team Builder, and the other one that Taisha had introduced us to a while ago. What is it? Web API, I think, or something? There's another,
Yeah,
or
but
Trevor. Yes, sorry.
Fuck you guys.
It was Trevor.
And that pretty much also gives you a rundown on all of the links and what works well with what, how many links they share in common, which is really good. I don't know if DBZ Space does that though. I haven't really looked through in depth this much in DBZ Space.
They don't have anything quite to the extent of that API thing that Trevor showed us.
They have something better that I just found out that is on this that I didn't even know was a thing.
Oh yeah.
People have showed me screenshots of it, but I didn't really know how to access it.
Right.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, but it's
We can save that if you want.
You're talking about the team builder.
Yeah, the team builder.
That's actually a separate website that we'll cover in another episode because
Okay.
it's not actually part of DBZ Space. It links to another website.
It's fucking awesome.
And then obviously
Okay.
the same, you can pretty much go through the JP links if you wanted something. For example, if you wanted to just click on any of these, you can pretty much just see every unit that falls under this link skill specifically. And again, it works pretty much just with anything. So just to give you guys a quick rundown, we'll just do HP for the sake of it. You can see all of the links that pretty much just give you HP, Metamorphosis, Namekians, Connoisseur, and everything else. If you want just mainly attack links, this is the place to do it. And you can pretty much just see all of the links that go under here as well. And then obviously defense to just give you guys every little piece of it, you know. So this pretty much falls under all of the defensive links, and then obviously key being one of the most usable links, especially when you're using Saiyans, I think. You'll see a lot more key links, or at least in my teams I do, because I use fusions way too much.
Yeah, they have way too. They got a lot of key links.
But anyways, that pretty much is the quick run-up of, sum up on the card links tab. Moving on, we can now go to items. And again, guys, like I said, this is pretty much just going to be everything under the sun. This website lists every little asset possible in Dokkan. I mean, they even go as far as giving you every asset for card arts. So you can imagine that this has everything listed. And I like that they categorize all of this. They even tell you how many items are in here as well. So for example, for Awakening things, we have 497, we have 65 support items, training items, locations, potential, treasures, and specials. So we're actually going to go ahead, for the sake of not having to scroll through 490 something items, we'll actually go ahead and click on training. And this pretty much gives you every single training item that is out in Dokkan. And then you can actually click on these as well. And it gives you just the rundown of how much XP it gives, obviously with all the units, and also, excuse me, I have to freaking yawn. But it also gives you the areas in which they can drop. So it'll basically give you the name of the event, the stage that you have to do it on, and it also gives you the percentage of the drop rate. So that is really, really, really helpful. You can kind of see it fluctuates between different percentages. I heard you on mute.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
No, I was just saying that when you guys want to look for things that, especially things that have drop, before we got the update for Android 13, the free-to-play one, there were several different you could go and look for the individual medals, find out which one had the highest percentage drop chance, and maximize your ability to farm that faster.
So for example, let's say you wanted to find this medal, for example, right? I still have to do this, by the way. It tells you how many units that it could basically be used for. It's gonna do that pretty much for all of these units. It tells you where you can get them. The drop rate's literally here. It tells you how many quantities in your run, as well as again the stage in the area. So another really useful thing to take note in as well. And then you can also go to the JP side, and as you can see, a lot more medals begin to appear. But I'm pretty sure we all expected that. So, but yeah, this is definitely a useful thing to take a look into. So even if you wanted to, for example, I'll just do one real quick for you guys, just to see here. Oh, let's see. We'll just do this one for the sake of it. So let's say we wanted a Beerus. Here you go. Gives you the drop rates, gives you the event that you go on. You pretty much just click it and it pulls up the event. So really useful It gives you the ideal quantity, and then it also gives you your drop rate and tells you what stage it's on. So very useful mechanic by DBZ Space again. And I don't really ever use it for this specifically, but also there is a category section, so if you don't want to have to keep going back and forth, you can pretty much just click this and switch just between every single tab if you're interested in any of that. If you wanted to go to potential, you can see all the potential orbs. If you wanted to go to special, you can see all of the tickets and awesome unique things. Ha ha ha. But yeah, definitely worth looking into for sure. With game items as well. And like I said, or like we've been saying, this is a very useful website. Definitely worth checking out if there's something in specific that you are looking for. I would highly, highly, highly recommend this website. At least have it bookmarked at least somewhere in any of your browsers. If you wanted to go to quests, this pretty much tells you all of the quests. So for example, let's say we wanted to do this. It tells you the name of the area, basically gives you the difficulty, the stamina required, and the XP that you can gain, as well as Zenny. Another very, very useful thing that we have in Dokkan. If you're just looking out for, like, what do you need to farm, see, if you're looking, for example, when we have 4 times XP, what gives you the most XP? I mean, naturally, it's your last area and stage. So
I'm really bummed that we don't have anything special going on.
You cut out.
Sorry. I'm just bummed that we don't have anything bonus XP right now, because this site actually calculates it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you go in and you look at your XP totals, it'll tell you how much it gives you based off the current multiplier.
Right.
And it automatically updates and stays in time with the game. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Also, when are we gonna see finally stage 30 listed under here? Give us 3 more quest stages, please. Like,
Yeah,
even if we go to Japan, check this out. Look, we are all behind.
Yeah, like I don't know when the last time the story got an update. It's been a couple years, right?
Yeah, it's been
A little bit more than that. Yeah.
I think we can pretty much safely say they don't give a crap about the quest mode.
And as you can see here, it even tells you if there's a bonus rate going on in that specific version as well. So for example, JP is on their user XP times 4.
Oh, perfect. Click on one of the stages and
Oh yeah, you're right,
bring
actually.
it up, and it'll show it.
So here you go.
goddamn 108,000 XP off of the last stage.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I think that's probably the most useful part of the quest feature. I mean, because really all it tells you is,
Basically
how
just
much
how much
save
stamina.
costs,
Yeah.
But the nice thing is like when we had the half stamina, it updated that as well. So it showed the right cost for stamina. It showed the right amount of XP you got, and then I believe it also shows you the amount of XP you get per stamina spent in the stage. So if you're really trying to maximize your ability to farm, you can do the hard calculations.
Yeah. But yeah, there you guys have it. That sums up pretty much the quest tab. Nothing entertaining as much to see here as the rest of it, but it is still there for those who are interested. There's also events. And this pretty much gives you the entire summary of all the events that are currently in Dokkan Battle itself. Not ones that are actually out at the moment, but you can actually go ahead and do that. So if you want to see what events are inactive, they'll be darker than the ones that are active. So even if you're scrolling through the hard list as well, so if you wanted to go back onto the All tab, you can see the darker ones are basically events that aren't out on Dokkan at the moment, whereas all of these pretty much are. What that also means is you can separate it to special events, so when you have things like the Ginyu Force, you can see which ones of the special events are out today. If you wanted to do this for any flash events, you can do that. Dailies, weeklies, bonuses, stories, limits, and pretty much just everything that you need. So for example, we'll go ahead and just do a story one real quick. If you want to do story active, this tells you all of the story events that are out right now on Dokkan for global. If you want to see which ones are inactive, well, there you go. And it works the same with JP, obviously. So if you wanted to if you're a JP player and you're wondering what's out, and you want to look again just for the sake of what's weekly, you want to see what's active, there you go. If you want to keep it on active, but you want to see go, like for example, let's go back to story. You can see which story modes are active. Then you can click on these as well. Load times do be kind of slow, I'm not gonna lie. We'll go over to global. I don't know if that's gonna benefit any, but... Oh, my internet died. Is that what it is? That is what it is. Motherfuck, dude.